New Orleans didn't just fear one crew, it feared an alliance. Prosecutors say 3NG from Central City fused with G-Strip from the 9th Ward to form the 39ers, a hybrid blamed for a dozen killings, including rapper Magnolia Shorty. Those were allegations at first. Later, convictions followed. In 2015, federal prosecutors filed a 45-count RICO indictment. By 2017, key defendants were sentenced to life. This film charts 5 outfits: 3NG, G-Strip and the 39ers, Young Melph Mafia, the One-Ten-ers, and the Josephine Dog Pound, and the MAG unit playbook that came for them all. We'll separate rumor from record and trace the rivalries that redrew the Crescent City map, block by block. This isn't a roll call of legends. It's a map of pressure points: Central City, Uptown's Irish Channel, and the Upper 9th Ward, and the crews that moved dope, guns, and fear between them. We follow rivalries, not just names. 3NG transforming into the 39ers, Young Melph Mafia clashing with the One-Ten-ers, Josephine Dog Pound setting the early tone. We pair official records, indictments, appeals, and sentences with the street talk you hear outside corner stores and bar rooms. If something's disputed, we say so. If a court cleared someone, we say that too. And in the background, the city's multi-agency gang unit stays our quiet 6th character, always present, always building cases. 3NG, 3rd and Galvez, is more than a corner. It's a Central City identity. Prosecutors tied the crew to murders, retaliations, and an entrenched drug trade from the late 2000s onward. In mid-2013, after a MAG investigation, the Orleans Parish District Attorney brought a 30-count state racketeering case against 20 defendants linked to 3NG. Those were allegations. Various convictions followed. The message landed. Louisiana's racketeering law wasn't theory. It carried up to 50 years at hard labor. As the heat rose, a broader alliance formed. 3NG and G-Strip from the Upper 9th Ward, blending into the 39ers. A hybrid prosecutors linked to 12 homicides and a heroin pipeline. Some appeals in 2022 had mixed outcomes, but the core judgment stood. Official records draw the enterprise lines. Street rumor insists unindicted shot callers kept their hands clean. That's rumor, not proof. Enjoying this story so far? Please like the video and subscribe to support the channel. All right, let's jump back in. Place matters here. Central City, row houses and corner stoops along Martin Luther King Boulevard, leans west toward Uptown and the Irish Channel. Downriver, the Upper 9th Ward, Gallier Street, the Desire and Florida corridors, sits beyond the Industrial Canal. Crews grow from old housing projects and family trees. Police maps don't mark humiliation or pride, but those build motives. Officially, City Hall leaned into focused deterrence, group violence reduction strategy to choke off group shootings, pairing help with hard prosecutions. On the street, people called it that new task force that shows up with locals, feds, and sealed indictments. In 2012, the city announced the Multi-Agency Gang Unit, NOPD, with ATF, DEA, FBI, State Police, and the District Attorney. The playbook was simple and relentless. Build long timelines, link separated incidents, stack state RICO and federal conspiracies, and flip cooperators. In practice, MAG normalized enterprise indictments in a city that used to chase cases one by one. That's the official record. The underworld belief was simpler. If MAG had your clique's name on a whiteboard, your phones were probably tapped, and your grandma's block would be full of unmarked sedans by sunrise. That's belief, not proof. The One-Ten-ers, named for the 10th and 11th wards, became the foil for multiple Central City cliques. In May 2013, after a MAG investigation, the district attorney unveiled a 51-count racketeering bill against 15 defendants and called it the most sweeping street gang indictment in city history. Among the acts tied to the alleged enterprise was a birthday party shooting in Central City in 2012 that killed 5-year-old Breonna Allen and Shawana Pierce, a mother driving by. In 2015, 3 men were convicted in state court for those murders and received life sentences. Official records frame the One-Ten-ers as an uptown power whose feuds fueled retaliations across Central City. Street rumor paints them as Irish Channel hitters who moved quietly until provoked. Either way, the result was heavy charges and long time. While the One-Ten-ers were hammered in state court, Young Melph Mafia, rooted near the old Melpomene development along Martin Luther King Boulevard, drew federal attention. In 2015, a 31-count superseding indictment reframed YMM as a racketeering enterprise tied to drugs, guns, and violence, including clashes with the One-Ten-ers. Leaders like Lionel Lott Allen later received life plus decades after trial. Meanwhile, the 3NG story bent toward the 39ers alliance, putting Central City and the Upper Ninth on the same case file. As crews rebranded, personal beefs didn't vanish. They scaled. Official filings describe cooperating witnesses, gunshot residue, social media taunts, and ballistics that linked scenes hours apart. Street rumor says the real tells were smaller. New cars on old blocks, unfamiliar faces outside nightclubs, and one text that read, "They want that RICO." Filings describe messages like that. The street repeated them. Set Piece 1. The 39ers RICO. In June 2015, the indictment landed. Prosecutors said a crew straddling 3rd and Galvez and Gallier Street protected heroin territory with murder. Plea deals stacked. By early 2017, 10 defendants faced a 6-week federal trial. Appeals later confirmed the alliance label, 3NG and G-Strip working as one. In court, the government used cooperators, including Gregory Rabbit Stewart, already guilty in a related case, and forensics to stitch scenes across years. The official record says they sold heroin, guarded corners, and enforced with violence. The defense called the enterprise a prosecutorial invention, neighborhood beefs dressed up as a conspiracy. The jury sided with the enterprise theory. In July 2017, key defendants received life. The twist was cruel and clarifying. The murder of Magnolia Shorty, the city's celebrity victim, was reframed not as a one-off tragedy, but as a node inside a long enterprise narrative. Singular grief became pattern evidence. Some appellate rulings in 2022 adjusted pieces, but the core story stood. The enterprise was proven to a jury. Set Piece 2. The One-Ten-ers, from a birthday party to RICO. In Central City in May 2012, gunfire aimed at rivals tore through a child celebration, killing Breonna Allen and Shawana Pierce. Outrage set a tone. Within a year, the district attorney charged the One-Ten-ers under state racketeering. 51 counts, 15 defendants, the most sweeping yet. Trials came in waves. In 2015, 3 men were convicted for the murders and received life. Prosecutors presented the One-Ten-ers as a structured enterprise linked to at least 10 killings, leaning on witnesses, phone evidence, and earlier skirmishes. Defense lawyers argued these were impulsive beefs, not policy. Still, the MAG model showed its muscle. Old incidents reread as a larger pattern. The twist came from the rival's perspective. Crews like YMM read the indictments as operational intel, who feuded with whom and which corners drew the hottest heat. From 2015 to 2017, several YMM members took federal time, including a life sentence, plus 35 years for Lionel Allen after a jury conviction. The rivalry map redrew again. Backstory break. Josephine Dog Pound. Before 39ers and YMM filled headlines, the Josephine Dog Pound signaled where the city was headed. From 2011 to 2012, federal court handed out decades and life terms to JDP members on racketeering and murder counts. The official record shows a leader receiving life and others receiving 30 years. It also shows a willingness to treat local cliques as enterprises, years before the 39ers trial. Street rumor says JDP's fall taught every crew a lesson. If they can make you a logo, they can make you a RICO. Rumor or not, the pipeline of joint investigations was already in place. Retaliation and symbolic violence defined this era. Crews used acts meant to send messages. Drive-bys spaced hours apart to link beefs, club parking lot shootings after a sighting, even second-line ambush whispers that were hard to prove. Those are disputed stories. Official filings tell a blunter tale. Guns recovered, casings matched, phones mapped, behavior that fits enterprise logic. The contrast matters. Rumor makes a legend. Records make a sentence. Once the city shifted from single-incident policing to enterprise prosecutions, even a so-called warning shot could become one more tile in a mosaic labeled racketeering. By 2017, the 39ers had life sentences at the top. YMM saw leaders take life and long stacked terms. The One-Ten-ers carried heavy state time. Appeals in 2022 for parts of the 39ers case yielded affirmed in part and vacated in part rulings, none of which undid the core. Prosecutors proved an enterprise to a jury. State racketeering remained a hammer, up to 50 years at hard labor under Louisiana law. The MAG and group violence reduction strategies stayed on the books through changes in City Hall and command staffs. Officially, the model endures. On the street, names change. Tactics don't. Crackdowns remove people. They don't erase conditions. Central City still remembers old grudges. The Upper Ninth still watches cars that don't belong. Some survivors aged out. Some moved. Some work legit. A few write from prison, feeding new myths. City programs, re-entry, job pathways, and violence interruption try to catch the next generation before an enterprise forms. The underworld belief persists. There is always a crew of the moment. MAG counters with faster, joint cases. The legacy of these five is simple and heavy. A city that learned to name its violence and a system that learned to connect it. As of 2025, New Orleans still cycles between surges and sweeps. The names rotate. The methods feel familiar. The city keeps the MAG and GVRS spine. Families keep candles lit. Rivalry stories never vanish. They just move to a new corner and start again. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Red State Crime videos.